What's good? What's good? I'm on a good flow right now. I woke up early. I did yoga. I did a little workout. I have had some good orders this morning. It's the weekend, so that helps. But I just finished an order where both customers tipped. Both customers lived in the same apartment complex. Both customers' buildings were right next to each other, and both customers' building unit numbers were the same. It was wild. One was blank blank, like SS8, and the other was RR8, and they were right next to each other. It was awesome. Anyways, I'm still complicit because I'm doing Spark orders, and I raised a little controversy in some recent videos I've made where I'm just being open and honest and expressing some frustration around the exploitation of systems and peoples. We're all losing in this game. We're all losing when we use these apps and when we contribute to these corrupt corporations. And so I made that video and I was just being honest. I'm trying to find the compassion in the situation for the others involved, and I can kind of see it because they're better off doing this than what they would be doing in their own country. But that made me think we're all still complicit, and we need to divest. Divestiture is necessary for progress, I believe. What does divestiture mean to me? It means that we stop using these apps. It means that we stop supporting these giant corporations. I still go to Fred Meyer. I still go to Starbucks. I need to stop doing that. And it's easy to make excuses. We all make excuses for why we still support these corrupt, evil corporations. But we need to stop talking about it, and we need to start being about it. And so I'm actually building a plan to move away from doing this gig work. I'm kind of glad I'm not like famous and that I don't have a lot of subscribers, because on that controversial video I made, a lot of people have made their opinions known. Thank you. One person, said cry harder. And it's like, if I had a lot more comments to go through, it would really bug me. I can deal with a few negative comments, but more, I don't know if I could. But, I'm trying to be motivated to fix my situation. So I'm going to update my resume. And I've had 2 people in the last week literally tell me I should do a sales job because I have a good personality. And it's a good way to make money. And my problem is that I would need to be selling something that I really support and believe in. I can't just sell stupid knickknacks and tchotchkes for the sake of it. And I'm not a big fan of like the luxury market in its current form. I think luxuries are nice, but when we live in this hyper materialistic, hyper luxury class disparity timeline, it doesn't feel good. And I also had this thought too, that, if I had money right now, I'd probably feel guilty. And so having compassion for people who might be perceived as, having class privilege. I have a friend who's an entrepreneur that's got a little bit of money, and he does feel guilty. But at the same time, he works hard, and he understands that, his businesses need to make a profit. And he understands that most people are getting screwed. And while I was honest in that video, I do want to emphasize that I am trying to process it, and I'm trying to move past it. And I think a lot of people struggle with things, and we really need to create an atmosphere where we can have these difficult conversations. Because if you just suppress stuff, it just gets worse. It just gets so much worse. And so as we work past our own personal problems, we should be seeking to divest from these institutions that are perpetuating the problem. So I'm guilty. I acknowledge that. We're all guilty and complicit to a degree, to an extent. I know There are some people who are really off grid. Props to them. That's not necessarily the solution. So one example of divestiture to me is not paying your taxes. That's really bold, and I'm not suggesting you do that, but that's one way we can begin. I think that's down the road. We need a lot of people to stop paying their taxes, but that's one way. Or instead of, just doing a whole business, just set up a little farm stand in your local community and just barter and exchange. That's more of the easy way to start, is to just start bartering and exchanging within your community and not including the middleman of the state. That's one way we can really massively begin the process of divestiture. Other options for divestiture is paying a few extra bucks and not going to a giant corporation, but going to a legitimate local business. Nobody said it's cheap to divest, but when we begin to understand you get what you give, A, and B, the planet has truly enough resources. It really does. We have an abundance of resources when we remove the bureaucracy that is constraining the free exchange of goods and services for individuals. And you can begin that process right within your community. And I suggest and encourage you to do so. And to ruminate yourself personally on this concept of divestiture and how you can, in your own way, begin to do so, and then encourage others to do so as well. Because our actions can be the ripple that inspires others. That was maybe not the ripple thing. Sometimes I get so in a zone, and then I'm also not a person who has my memory for detail isn't great. My memory for concepts is. I'm a very conceptual, visual thinker, but I do love words and language as well. So I need to get better about memorizing things. But your actions create a ripple that could turn into a wave. Thank you very much for listening to this. Much love, y'all.